There's a version of you that's lazy, undisciplined, full of excuses. That version wants comfort more than it wants growth. It wants to sleep in. There's a version of you that's soft. It takes the easy road every time. It hits snooze. It skips the workout. It says, I'll do it tomorrow. That version isn't just holding you back. It's killing your potential. And if you don't make the decision to kill it first, it's going to bury the life you actually want to live. That version of you doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about the long game. It just wants to be comfortable all the time. It wants dopamine, distractions, instant gratification, and it will whisper every excuse in the book to keep you in the same spot forever. You're tired. It's not the right time. You've been working hard. You deserve to rest. That voice sounds reasonable, right? But it's lying to you. It's not trying to help you recover. It's trying to keep you small. If you want to become someone stronger, sharper, more capable, that weak version of yourself has to go. And it's not going to leave quietly. You're going to have to kill it over and over again. Every time you choose to show up instead of back down, you're swinging the axe. Every time you lace up your shoes when you don't feel like it, you're breaking the grip that soft version has on you. Every rep, every hour, every sacrifice, it's a funeral for the person I've used to be. You don't evolve by hoping. You evolve by a cutting off what no longer serves you. That weak self, it might have had a purpose once. Maybe it helped you survive. Stay safe. Avoid pain. But now it's a burden. It's in your way. It doesn't belong in the life you're building. So stop giving it power. Stop feeding it with bad habits, lazy choices, and soft decisions. Starve it. Suffocate it. Replace every one of its moves with the moves of a savage, someone who's locked in, focused, and doesn't take shortcuts. This isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. You're going to slip. You're going to feel that weak version try to creep back in, but your job is to recognize it and shut it down fast. Don't argue with it. Don't negotiate. Just kill it. Show up anyway. Do the work anyway. That's how the strong version of you starts to take over. That's how you earn self-respect. Not by thinking about being better, by us becoming better one hard decision at a time. And here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. No one can kill that version of you except you. No trainer, no book, no podcast, no motivational clip can do the work for you. They can light a spark, sure, but if you don't pick up the blade and go to war with your weaker self, it's game over. You've got two choices. Keep feeding that soft, comfortable, low-effort version of you, or bury it today. Burn the old habits to the ground. Bury the old story. The one that says, you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. It's all lies. You were built for more. But the path to more requires pain, sacrifice, and a willingness to kill off everything inside you that wants to play it safe. So make the decision, draw the line. And every day, when that old version tries to rise again, meet it with fire. You don't owe that version anything. Your future doesn't have room for it. Kill it. And don't look back. Discipline is everything. It's not some nice idea you sprinkle on top of motivation when you feel good. It's the backbone of everything you want. Without discipline, your goals are just fantasies, empty promises you keep breaking to yourself. And every time you break one, every time you skip a rep, hit snooze, or say, I'll start tomorrow, you're giving strength to the weaker version of you, the one that needs to die. You think success comes from talent, from good luck, from watching motivational videos and waiting to feel ready. No. It comes from showing up when you don't feel like it. It comes from choosing what's hard when no one's watching. It comes from building a mindset so sharp, so dialed in that your emotions don't make decisions. Your standards do. That's discipline. Discipline is the weapon you use to beat every excuse your mind tries to sell you. It's what keeps you grinding when the hype wears off, when the noise dies down, when the spotlight fades. Because the truth is, hype is temporary, but discipline. That's where real power lies. That's where the transformation happens. You don't get better by doing things when they're convenient. You get better when it's pouring rain and you run anyway, when you're sore and tired, but you hit the gym anyway, when you're surrounded by distractions, but you focus anyway. Every one of those moments is a knife to the throat of your weaker self, and it bleeds a little more each time you don't cave in. This is where people get it wrong. They think discipline is punishment.
Yeah.
Like it's some harsh system to force yourself into a miserable grind. But that's not what it is. Discipline is freedom. It's control. It's power. Because when you have it, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're not controlled by how you feel. You control what you do. That's real strength. You want self-respect. Discipline is how you earn it, not from others, from yourself. You want confidence. Show up every day and prove to yourself that you don't quit, that you don't take the easy way out, that you're willing to go through the pain and boredom and repetition because what you're building is bigger than your feelings. And it's not about being perfect. No one is. You'll fall. You'll slip. You'll have off days. But discipline doesn't care about perfection. It only cares about consistency, about how fast you get back up, about how many punches you can take and still keep showing up. Because that's what separates the average from the unstoppable, the people who show up no matter what. You don't need motivation. You don't need to feel fired up. You just need to commit one decision at a time, one rep at a time, one day at a time. Stack the wins. Stack the pain. Stack the quiet victories until your discipline becomes who you are, not just something you do. And here's the part most people will never understand. Discipline is what kills weakness, not talk, not hype, not good intentions. Discipline is the cold, hard steel that cuts the weak parts out of you, slowly, relentlessly, every single day. So if you're tired of being stuck, tired of breaking promises to yourself, tired of watching your potential rot, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for permission. Show up. Do the work. Be consistent when no one's clapping. Be disciplined when no one cares. Because that's when it counts. That's where it's earned. And when you keep doing that long enough, your weak self won't survive. It can't. Not in the presence of real discipline. Most people want results, but they don't want the grind. They want transformation, but they don't want the isolation. They talk about greatness like it's something you just wake up into. It's not. You don't stumble into strength. You build it quietly, relentlessly, when no one's watching, when no one cares, while the world is distracted. That's when you do the work that actually changes you. You don't post it. You don't announce it. You just do it over and over again. And it's boring, man. It's repetitive. It's lonely. It's a lot of early mornings, late nights, missed parties, ignored messages, and uncomfortable choices. But that's where the edge is. That's where the real ones are made. If you're not willing to embrace that silence, that solitude, that grind when nobody's paying attention, then don't expect anything big to happen. Because that's where the gap is between people who just want and people who actually become. The talkers get loud when they start. The doors get quiet because they're too busy moving forward, while everyone else is out there performing, flexing their half-done routines, filming every workout, hyping up their mediocre hustle. You're in the shadows, stacking real wins. You're doing it for you, not for likes, not for attention, for results, for self-respect, for becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to explain anything because their life speaks for itself. That's what you're aiming for. The kind of strength that can't be faked. The kind that's forged in long stretches of silence. The kind of discipline that doesn't fade when nobody's clapping. It's in those hours where you're tired, alone, and tempted to quit. And you don't. You double down. You go harder. You grind when quitting feels easier. That's the shift. Because outworking everyone isn't about shouting, "I'm grinding." It's about doing so much work, so consistently, that people start wondering how the hell you got there. And the answer is simple: you didn't waste time talking. You earned it quietly. While they were distracted, you were sharpening your blade. You want a strong body, a strong mind, a strong life. Then you better learn to fall in love with the repetition, with the silence, with the process. You better learn to be the one who trains when it's cold. Who studies when it's late? Who keeps pushing when no one's watching? That's how you build something unshakable. Because when it's quiet, that's when the doubt creeps in. That's when the weak version of you shows up. And that's when you fight. That's when you bury that voice with action. When you prove to yourself that you're not like the rest, that you don't need praise or permission. You just need to keep moving. Don't get caught up in showing the grind. Focus on living it. Let the others flash their work ethic on social media. You build something real. You stack the hours. You put in the effort when it's boring, when it's lonely, when it feels like no one cares. Because, you care. You know what you're building. You know where you're headed. And when it's finally time to show what you've become, it won't be a performance. It'll be undeniable. Because the work speaks louder than any words ever could. That's how you outwork everyone in silence, not for attention, not for validation. Because you made a promise to yourself and you refuse to break it. No one's coming. That's the part nobody wants to hear. No mentor is going to hold your hand. No friend is going to drag you to the gym. No family member is going to chase your dreams for you. You are completely, brutally, and beautifully on your own. And that's not a bad thing. That's the best thing that could happen to you. Because the second you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, you take control. You become dangerous when you stop looking around for help and start looking in the mirror. That's where your answers are. That's where your fire lives. Deep down, you already know what needs to be done. You're just waiting for motivation, waiting for signs, waiting for someone to push you. But guess what? Waiting is killing your momentum. Waiting is feeding the weak version of you. Waiting is comfort disguised as logic. You want change. Then stop outsourcing your responsibility. Take the pressure, all of it. Own the fact that where you are right now is the result of your choices, not your boss, not your parents, not your environment. Every excuse you hold on to is a chain. Every time you blame someone else, you're handing over your power. Rip it back. Take ownership of every inch of your life, because that's the only way forward. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's freedom. When you finally accept that no one owes you anything, you stop expecting and start executing. That's where discipline lives. That's where consistency starts. That's where transformation begins, not in some perfect plan, but in ownership. raw, uncomfortable, full pressure ownership. The truth is, most people don't want to hear this. It's easier to believe that they're stuck because of something outside of themselves, that the system is unfair, that life is harder for them. And maybe it is. Maybe you do have it harder than most. Good. That's even more reason to stop wasting time. Even more reason to take this seriously. Because the more pressure you're under, the more powerful you become once you accept that it's your job to rise. And yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be lonely. You're going to doubt yourself. You'll want to quit. But that's part of the process. That's the universe asking, how bad do you want it? And every time you answer with action, every time you push forward alone, you're building something that nobody can take from you. Inner strength, no handouts, no shortcuts, no applause, just raw, consistent effort, powered by your own drive. That's the real flex. Not the hustle quotes or the highlight reels. The real flex is being the one who shows up when no one checks in. Being the one who trains in the dark. Who builds when no one's watching. That's self-respect. That's control. So stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You don't need that. What you need is to believe in yourself enough to start messy, start scared, start tired. Just start. Because once you do, once you realize that you are the one who decides how this story goes, everything changes. Nobody's coming. That's your gift. Now go do something with it. Most people don't want to sacrifice. They want the rewards, but they're not willing to pay the price. They talk about wanting to change, wanting to grow, wanting to evolve, but the second it gets uncomfortable, they retreat. The second it demands discipline, consistency, and pain, they back off. And that's why they stay stuck. That's why they keep repeating the same year over and over and calling it life. You can't have transformation without sacrifice. That's just the truth. You can't hang on to your bad habits, your comfort zone, your distractions, and expect something magical to happen. You have to give something up if you want to go somewhere new. You want a better body. Sacrifice comfort. You want a better business. Sacrifice your weekends. You want mental clarity. Sacrifice your time wasting habits. You don't get to keep the old you and become the new you at the same time. One has to die. There's a cost to everything. Success has a cost. Strength has a cost. Mastery has a cost. And the people who reach those levels, they've all paid it. Through sweat, through missed birthdays, through lonely nights, through getting up when they didn't want to, through doing the work no one sees and no one claps for. But they didn't complain. They didn't wish it was easier. They just leaned in and paid the price daily. Sacrifice isn't just about losing something. It's about making room for something greater. Every time you choose to delay gratification, every time you say no to something easy, you're building a version of yourself that's harder to break, harder to distract, harder to stop. And most importantly, you're proving to yourself that you can trust you. That when you say you're going to do something, you're not lying. That builds confidence, real confidence, the kind that can't be faked. You want real growth. Then you have to go to war with your impulses. You have to be willing to walk away from everything that doesn't serve your mission. That might mean people. That might mean habits. That might mean your old identity. And yeah, it'll hurt. But that's what growth feels like. If it's comfortable, it's not change. It's maintenance. And you're not here to maintain. You're here to evolve. You've got to start looking at sacrifice not as loss, but as investment. You're trading temporary pleasure for long-term strength. You're giving up the short term comfort so you can build something permanent, something real. And when you really get that, when it clicks deep in your bones, sacrifice stops feeling like suffering. It starts feeling like freedom because now you're in control. You're not reacting to life, you're creating it. The average mindset avoids sacrifice at all costs. It seeks pleasure, escape, shortcuts. That mindset leads to regret. The uncommon mindset, it chases hard things. It embraces the suck. It looks at pain and says, let's go, because that pain is shaping something. That struggle is creating separation between you and the person you used to be, between you and everyone else who gave up. You don't build a new life with old habits. You don't become someone new while clinging to who you were. The path forward demands a toll. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Are you willing to let go of the comfort, the ease, the distractions that are eating up your time and potential? Because once you fully commit, you become dangerous. You're not supposed to live soft. You're supposed to live with purpose. And purpose requires sacrifice. So dig deep. Get clear on what you want. And then cut everything that doesn't push you toward it. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. That's how you leave behind the person who was never willing to go all in. You don't need to announce everything. You don't need to post every move, every workout, every small win. You don't have to convince anyone that you're grinding. The real ones don't talk about the work. They do the work. And that's where the separation begins. That's where power is built. In silence, in solitude, in that space where no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one is validating you except you. Everyone wants to be seen. They want the recognition before they've earned the results. They want to feel successful before they've actually put in the grind that success demands. That's not how this works. If you're constantly chasing attention, you're not focused on the mission. You're performing, and the mission suffers for it. Because real growth doesn't need an audience. It just needs commitment, grit, reps. You should want your results to speak louder than you ever could. You should want to walk into a room and not say a word, and people feel the energy, the discipline, the work ethic in your presence. That kind of respect isn't given. It's earned in the dark, in the quiet, away from the noise, away from the spotlight. Silence gives you an edge. While others are broadcasting their progress, you're building momentum in the shadows. While they're worried about likes and comments, you're stacking skills, stacking habits, stacking wins that no algorithm can measure. And when the moment comes for you to show up, to deliver, to dominate, you don't have to prove anything. The results will handle it. The problem is most people can't sit still in the silence. It makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face themselves. It strips away the distractions. But that's exactly where the magic happens. In that quiet, uncomfortable space where you learn what you're really made of. When there's no audience, no praise, no reward, just you and the decision to keep going anyway. That's the proving ground. You become lethal when you stop needing validation. You stop second guessing yourself. You stop comparing, performing, explaining, and instead you channel that energy inward, into your craft, your training, your mental toughness. That's how champions are built, not in front of people, but behind closed doors where no one sees the hours, the sweat, the sacrifices. And here's the kicker: when your results finally show up, they'll speak so loud you won't have to say a thing. The ones who doubted you, they'll feel it. The ones who talked while you worked, they'll get quiet. Not because you shouted louder, but because your actions made all the noise. That's the mindset. Work in silence. Stay low. Stay focused. Let your success hit like a punch they didn't see coming. It's not about hiding. It's about building without distraction. It's about trusting the process more than the perception. So stop looking around. Stop needing applause. Build something so solid that you don't need to advertise it. The strongest version of you doesn't need to explain itself. It proves itself every single day in every single action. Stay silent. Stay dangerous. Let them underestimate you. Let them talk. Let them watch. Just make sure that when they see the results, there's nothing left to say.